Welcome back to the Shane and Shelby Show.
I'm Shane, and this is my beautiful wife, Shelby, over here. Episode 5. What have we been up to?
We've had a lot. We've had a lot going on. The one that's still traumatizing to me the most is the dog incident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went for a walk with our big dog, and maybe we can insert clip of Nala because she's so cute. But we went for a walk, and she's a lot, but it feels so nice outside right now. Spring weather. I got my lime green on. But anyway, so we go on this walk, and then this gigantic Great Pyrenees sees us from across the street, and it doesn't have its owner around, and it wants to come running fully at us. And I had nowhere to go, and I didn't know if our dog was going to be mean or want to play with the dog or like roll over and pee on herself, because you really don't know.
We've had all of those.
We've had all of those. And this dog, I didn't know if it was going to be friendly. You don't ever know. And it's ginormous, massive Great Pyrenees. And sometimes they're friendly and sometimes they're not. We know ours is our Great Pyrenees. But it's coming straight for us, but it has to cross the main road. And this poor woman in her white SUV just smacked it. And it just flew through the air. The dog did run off. So I think it's all right. And the owner came out and got it inside the house and then came and checked on everyone. I think the car's fine. I'm shook up. I think the person driving the car is shook up. And I know for certain that dog that got hit is pretty shook up. Nala also seems to be kind of like, I don't really know what's going on in her head. Like how dogs react when they watch another dog get hit by a car.
Yeah, I don't know that, like, we should find a way to, like, tap in and figure out, like, what she's thinking right now.
Do dogs need therapy?
She probably needed it before this.
Yeah.
This can't help.
No, she's a rescue too. So I think maybe like it triggered like past abandonment issues or something. I don't really know what happened. But and this is going to sound terrible. I'm honestly like just like slightly thankful that the dog did get stopped by the car. I don't like that it got hit by the car, but that did save me and Nala because I really don't know what would have happened.
Yeah.
And we ended up going on a very long walk to try to walk off that trauma that had just happened. And my knees messed up, back at the chiropractor again.
Yeah. She's trying to get back in shape, the dog.
Dog's
on weight management food right now. She's slimming up, trying to get that summer bod. And,
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had that incident happen. We also failed for I don't know how manyth time.
Not the first.
Not the first. Failed our child. And today's episode is going to be about parenting. And probably don't take advice from us unless it's what not to do. Yeah, how not to parent your child. And when they pull their first tooth ever, Benji finally, his bottom 2 teeth had to be surgically like removed or something. They just wouldn't come out. He had like 4 sets of them. It was a lot. But then he has this top tooth. It's loose. He's been trying to get it out for days. I'm telling him, hey man, the tooth fairy's gonna bring you, some money for this tooth. You should just like go ahead and pull it. So he does. First Shane throws it away.
I did throw it away.
Audrey put it in a Ziploc bag for Benji. I'm freaked out by like teeth and blood and everything that goes along with being or having a child. And so Audrey puts it in a bag. It's on the counter. Shane throws it in the trash can. And Benji's like, I don't know where my tooth went. Audrey put it in a bag for me. And Shane's looking at me. So he pulls that out of the trash can and I send it upstairs.
Why was it in the trash can, though? Can we explain the situation you had created on the kitchen counter?
That was not me.
That was you.
That was not me.
Like 10% him.
That was not 10% him. We have Benji do the dishes. And he was putting away clean dishes. And he can't reach half of them.
Mm-hmm.
So he just scatters them out on the counter.
Yeah.
Now, I did have the onion chopper, my lunch bowl, and a water, and an avocado, and a lemon on the counter. ADHD life, okay? Out of sight, out of mind.
It was in sight. You could see all of it.
But I didn't look at it. I was avoiding it at all costs. Anyway, but the rest of it was Benji.
So I
And
come in.
you.
I was outside. None of it was me.
That's not true. You had a whole section of it that was yours.
Explain this section. What was in that section?
I can't remember now, but I remember being on the phone with my mom and you yelling at me about how I had messed up the kitchen, and some of it was yours.
Big lies. So there was stuff everywhere, and I come in and I'm like, it's go time. I just start slinging stuff. One of said stuff was tooth in bag. So we pull that out of the trash can.
And then I tell Benji to take it upstairs and put it under his pillow, like you're supposed to do, right? And then he goes to bed. We talk about it again at bed. He's talking about how much money he thinks the tooth fairy's going to bring. And like, how much money should the tooth fairy bring? Like, I feel like the rate's gone way up, which is
For sure.
probably our fault because we keep being terrible parents.
I think it depends on the experience.
I think so too. So Benji got $5 for his bottom 2 teeth because he had to have anesthesia and get them pulled out. Like, that seems worthy of $5, probably more.
Agreed. Yeah, if it just falls out, I'm thinking 2.
Yeah, so I told him, I was like, well, because he was saying, it's going to be $5.
Mm.
And I was like, it's not going to be $5, man. Like, you pulled that one tiny tooth out of your head. It was pretty easy. Like, come on now. And so
Inflation, though.
inflation, from 6 weeks before. But anyway, so he goes to bed. He's so excited for the tooth fairy to come. Shane and I are downstairs watching American Idol. Had 1 glass of wine.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, I had 1 glass of wine and lots of water before and after. And anyway, I mentioned in the middle of American Idol, I mentioned, hey, like, we cannot forget, we've got to go up and switch out this tooth for money. And because I was so adamant that we needed to do this, because this was not going to be our first time forgetting to be the tooth fairy. How many times have we forgot to be the tooth fairy for Audrey?
At least 2.
Yeah. And she's older. So Benji is 7. Audrey's 11. And so I was like, we've got to make sure we do this. He's like so excited. We get wrapped up in American Idol. I'm crying on like the last part, the last whatever happened. I don't know. I'm all emotional about it. And then we go to bed. Like, I completely forgot. Terrible parent. Terrible parent. And so we forget, we go to bed. I don't even realize the next morning what had happened. Shane gets up with the kids. And you want to tell what happened?
Well, there was nothing under that pillow except for that tooth. And they were a little distraught. I'm not going to lie. So normally Aj will go in Benji's room. Like when she wakes up, she'll be a good sister, kind of turn his light on, get him a little bit set up while she's doing her stuff because she's a morning person and he's not. And yeah, she goes in there, wakes him up. He looks. There's a tooth still there. They both get real kind of cranky that morning. And so I pull out some genius shit, I feel like. We made it work. We get up really early, get done really early. I take them for donuts. So we're out of the house like a good 20 minutes before usual. We go get some donuts. It's still dark outside because the time just changed. And so we get these donuts and I'm driving and I'm like, hey, maybe we left the house too early. It's still dark. For all I know, Tooth Fairy is just based on darkness. Like it's 7 a.m, but it's still nighttime, right?
So we did switch out the tooth before the kids got out of school.
For a solid $5.
$5 inflation, man, or just parents failing. But this is not the first time we've done this. But Audrey, we've blamed it before on if Benji sleeps in her floor, and we can't sneak in there, then we'll be like, "Oh, yeah, the tooth fairy, can't risk waking you
Mhm.
both up, and that's why. That's why it didn't come." I think Audrey's to the point where she, like, truly does not believe in the tooth fairy at this point.
She seemed pretty skeptical.
She was pretty skeptical, and she's also skeptical about all of the, you know
Other things we failed at.
yeah, and, I think Santa's all we've got left, and I think it's closing in, but yeah, we failed.
How do we go about that? Do we tell her?
About the tooth fairy?
Yeah.
I feel like we've gotta tell her and then tell her to keep it a secret from him
Yeah. Because she's getting skeptical, and I think he's getting skeptical based on
because
her
she is getting skeptical.
skepticism. Yeah.
I know, and it would be so sad because he's still young.
That was his first two.
First tooth that he actually pulled out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like we do have to tell her the truth. I told her there's no Easter bunny, there's no leprechaun.
Mm.
Tooth fairy's next. But I said Santa, man. I still believe in Santa,
Yeah. It's in her best interest to keep that one going.
right?
Mm.
Which I never, my mom, she said, if you don't believe in Santa, you ain't getting any gifts. So you know what? I'm 31 years old and I still believe in Santa.
As you should.
Exactly. So anyway, but Easter, I told Audrey Easter, I said, there's not an Easter bunny. I wasn't raised to have an Easter bunny.
Mm.
I don't know if that's, did you believe in the Easter bunny?
I don't think so.
No.
That one seems pretty far fetched.
Did you get an Easter basket?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got Easter baskets, but my mom was like, here's your Easter basket. This is from me.
Yeah. That one always surrounds like church, I feel like. So
Yeah.
churches are like, no damn bunny.
Except for now churches, like growing up, there was never an Easter bunny at our like small Southern Baptist churches. But now the kids growing up, there's Easter bunnies at the church
Mm.
on Easter. And I'm like, absolutely not. This is about Jesus. So I don't really know. That one's weird to me, but yeah, I did clarify that one. Like, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
You get an Easter basket, but it's from me. So we've got to work on our parenting. I will say, in our defense, we have no clue what we're doing and never have. So if you didn't like know our story, we got pregnant with Audrey. I was 19, Shane was 21, and we didn't read any of the books. Like people read these like pregnancy books and like how to have a child and such. I didn't read any of those books. I don't like to read.
Or go to classes.
No,
Or
we never went to like the birthing classes. We have friends now who are like doing birthing classes, and I'm like, oh,
That
yeah,
might
I
have
did.
helped.
I didn't do any of that. We didn't do a hospital tour. We didn't do any of the
We
things.
did a tour. I toured it regularly because you kept going on these contractions.
Well, I didn't know. When you're 19 and haven't read any of the books,
Yeah.
you don't know if it's your water breaking or whatever's going on. I don't know. Anyway, so we genuinely have had no clue how to be parents. We've based it on like how we were raised. We were raised quite differently though, like still Southern parenting style, but we just don't know what to do with our kids. And we don't do that gentle parenting crap. That's not for us. That's not, if you're raised in the South, you didn't have, and you're a millennial, you didn't have gentle parenting. That did not exist. And honestly, some of these gentle parenting people are raising some crappy kids,
For sure.
like some entitled rats. And I don't want an entitled brat as a child. And sometimes Audrey, she has her moments.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to raise bad kids. But, we also don't know what we're doing. We probably should read some books, but I don't really trust any of like the people telling parenting tips right now. But our kids are older too. Like I feel like there's been a big shift over the past like 10 years on like parenting styles. So like gentle parenting when we had Audrey was not a thing. Like that's just come about. And probably even after we had Benji, like I don't feel like gentle parenting was a thing.
No.
until maybe like 5 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we've just had no clue. We're winging it, blind by the seat of our pants, trying not to create childhood trauma. Like, we don't want our kids to be in therapy for the rest of their lives because their parents sucked. But I feel like everyone ends up with childhood trauma from something because parents don't know. There is no freaking rule book. You can read all the books, but they're all going to say something different. And there's no actual rule book on how to parent a child.
Mm. And the kids are different.
The kids are so different. Like, each kid. I mean, Audrey and Benji are raised in the same house with the same rules. Those kids could not be further apart. Okay, so what we're doing now, though, that we've just implemented, because, here's another thing that we suck at with parenting is consistency.
That's you.
That's me. Mhm. I'll accept that one. I don't do anything consistently in any parts of my life. And I think that's on ADHD.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna blame my ADHD for that, unmedicated. But what we've just started is chore charts. Now, did you have chores growing up?
Sort of. They were like unwritten, so I didn't have a chart or anything, but it was like, you better do this stuff.
What did you do as a child?
Definitely picked up, cleaned. I didn't cook or anything. Didn't really do the laundry, but kept the house tidy.
Okay. I definitely had chores, but no chore chart either because so we were both only children he was an only child until high school.
Mm.
I was an only child forever. So I didn't have a chore chart. It was like, here's the chores that have to get done. Like, if you're going to go to a friend's house, you better have the dishes done and the laundry done and have cleaned up your room and yada, yada, yada. So I definitely had chores. I did not get an allowance for chores. Did you get an allowance?
Yeah.
You did?
I think it was based on age.
Oh,
So like at 10, I'd get $10.
a month? Or a week?
I don't recall. I think a week.
Okay.
Memory's bad, guys.
Yeah, your memory's
Yeah,
terrible.
I partied.
Oh my God. So we started this chore chart, but it is not for pay. And I watched something that I actually thought was beneficial about how you shouldn't pay your child to do chores. You should pay your child to do things that will like actually benefit them in like future jobs, like pay them to read or pay them to, I don't know, something else, but like to where you're not teaching them to like clean, but you're teaching them, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that it actually like fully makes sense, but I never got an allowance either, so I really don't know how it's supposed to go.
Yeah. I think like creating an incentive around like making your bed, like once they move out and don't get paid for that, they're gonna be like, screw this, I'm not making my bed, no one's paying me for it.
Right. I feel like to be in the house, you should contribute to the house. Which they are children. So like their chore charts are dusting, folding some towels.
Can we talk about like how poorly they do each one of these jobs?
Oh my goodness. And I think that's the thing is I just am now implementing these chore charts because I personally feel like I can do it much better.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be much faster and done the right way. But I also suck at delegating. And this is why I am like mentally screwed up all the time. But they suck at these chores.
If they were getting paid, like,
Ugh.
we're talking a nickel.
Yeah, they do not know how to dust. And I feel like we're supposed to teach them, like how else are they going to know how to dust their own house if we don't teach them at a young age, right? But even when I show them how to dust, they're not.
No.
And then, they complain. They complain about these chores. And Benji asks every time, what am I getting for this? But we do pay them for sports.
We do.
Might be a little controversial. I don't know if other people do.
My parents did. I think that's where it came from.
Yeah, I didn't play sports, so I wasn't paid for them.
Yeah. I remember in basketball, I was getting pretty decent, but like wouldn't shoot the ball. And so they're like, hey, if you want to like start being aggressive and score some points, we'll pay you. And it worked. I don't remember what age that was, but it seems to work for the kids too.
But have you
Sometimes.
remembered to pay them?
Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
No, we've got IOUs in the hundreds probably.
Yeah. So these kids are doing well with their sports, but we're not doing well with consistency.
Yeah. But it's also like a cash thing.
And who has cash?
Yeah. Do they have Venmo yet? Or you've Venmo
Audrey
kids?
did ask me the other day if she could have a debit card or like what age she needed to be to have a debit card. And I was like,
Yeah.
what money are you putting on this card? And she goes, the money
for
from
young
us.
mom. Yeah. You probably get something real nice.
Probably so. So we've got work to do as parents. But I feel like you're always, always working towards it.
Once we figure something out, then they like grow out of that. And
I know, and then it's constantly changing. And I do feel like it is the young parent thing because I honestly feel like we grew up with Audrey.
yeah,
So I was,
being responsible for sure.
yeah, like I was 19 with a baby. Like Audrey and I, we just grew up
The club,
together.
baby on hip.
But I didn't know what to do. I still don't know what to do. But I feel like she's, I don't know, we're kind of close in age. So it's like, oh, well, we're going to learn this together. With Benji, I was like, oh, I kind of have a little bit more of an idea, but his personality is so drastically
Our ideas
different.
Don't work on him.
No. And he's so much like me. And the problem is, if you have ADHD, then you can like recognize the traits in other people, but like I don't know how to fix myself. So therefore, I don't know how to fix someone else. And until I can figure out how to manage my ADHD, I think we're going to struggle.
Agreed.
So we're just going to
Figure
keep
it out, babe.
learning. Yeah. And then there's all these people like, I didn't want to be an old parent. But there's a bunch of people that are older parents and they probably are doing it better.
Maybe.
Like in some aspects.
Yeah.
So I think we had the like fun parent down better. Like we were broke and couldn't do much, but like we did the fun things, got the bubble machine in the backyard, like
Jumping on the trampoline.
jumping on the trampoline with them because we're still super young. And so we'll go out and do things with them, but like maybe we're not the best at like true parenting. But then you have the older people who can't, I mean, that's a little rude. Some people can't do the level that we can do as far as like going out and doing things and like having the energy, but then they have the funds, can hire the nannies and have probably read the books and seem to like have a better.
So what do you recommend?
I don't have a clue. I think parenting's hard. I think parenting's hard no matter what age you have your kids, no matter what type of kids you have, boy, girl. Do you feel like girls are a little harder? Like as they get older? Currently?
Yeah, at 11.
Ooh. Yeah. It's rough. So I don't know that I recommend any of it. I think that I wish that we would have had kids younger or like not younger, but like closer in age. So our kids are 4 years
I
apart.
think it would. So I was always hung up on like the beginning of that, where you've got like a 2-year-old and a baby, and
Yeah, you were
that's
really against that. I think the baby phase is so much easier looking back on it. The baby phase is so much easier than like the preteen phase.
No, I hated the baby face.
Yeah, you did. I really liked the baby phase, other than the lack of sleep.
Yeah, which I was fine with. That's the good part about doing it when you're young is
Yeah.
like I was used to all-nighters and you just rolled college into parenting all-nighters.
Yeah, I wasn't a partier though, so I didn't do like the all-nighters thing. I really needed my sleep,
Maybe
so
that's
you took
why you're
night
fine
shifts.
with babying.
Yeah, I
Because
slept.
you didn't do the night stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Except for, do you remember when we had to put Audrey in that car seat, and I would drive her around in the car at 2 in the morning, and that did not work. They say, "Oh, drive him around." No. If the baby doesn't wanna sleep, they don't wanna sleep. And then she would finally go to sleep when I would get back to the apartment, and I would lay in the floor with her in her car seat and just, like, rock, and she would sleep maybe, like, 10 to 15 minutes. Be like, "Oh, got a little nap." But, yeah, I think the baby stage is so much easier.
No.
Even with the lack of sleep.
No.
Okay. But having kids, if I were to recommend anything, I would recommend 2 years apart and maybe be financially stable,
Mm.
but still young enough to, like, jump on a trampoline.
So does it mean that we've completely failed if our daughter says, "I don't think I want kids"? Because she said that recently.
She did recently say
I think
that.
that's a direct reflection of how we're doing.
I don't know. I think being the oldest daughter is hard. Being an only daughter is hard. Being a girl in general is hard, okay? I always wanted kids. Looking back on it, I was not at all prepared. I was even one that babysat. Like, I would babysit all the time. Audrey does not wanna babysit. She's like, "I don't like children."
Yeah. I think that's from me. I will not hold your baby. Like, we've visited a lot of friends at hospitals and like been there the day they come out and they're like, hold my baby. And I will say no. I don't want to hold your baby. You can keep that over there.
Needless to say, we're done having children, if anyone's asking. We shut that down. Just the 2 that we're still trying to, figure out what to do with.
Yeah.
No, I do think that we do a great job in some areas.
Mm.
We just, like, don't know what we're doing in other areas, and hopefully other people can relate and, like, not talk crap about us after this podcast. But I think if you're honest with yourself, you're failing in some area. Like, you might not realize it right now, but you're failing. And if you think you're perfect, your kid's gonna have trauma later. Because that's a you problem. Like, at least we're open enough to
Yeah.
or, like, honest with ourselves.
Self-aware.
Yeah, we're self-aware. We're like, "Oh, yeah, we should do better with that." And then we try.
Yeah.
At least we're, like, actively, like, trying to figure it out. And, like, maybe we just tell them the truth about the tooth fairy because we keep screwing it up so bad.
I think that's probably going to create less trauma than us showing up 2 days later for the next couple of years.
I know. Okay. So another thing we have different opinions on with parenting, and we're like pretty aligned with most things, but we have different opinions on grades and school. You want to take this one?
Yep. Because my opinion's right on this.
Oh,
So I've got a good philosophy on opportunity cost with school. And so I feel like if you're getting a B, that is perfect, especially in elementary school, middle school, if you have junior high. I think A's could potentially only matter in high school, and that's debatable because you can take tests to make your high school grades pretty irrelevant. So I say do what you need to do to get good grades, which is a B. And then past that, use your time for something else.
I thought you thought the grade that was needed was a C.
No.
Have you since changed your mentality on this? Because I believe C's get degrees came out of your mouth.
So valid. And if they come home with a C, we're still fine.
Okay.
So ideally, it's a B, though.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of wiggle room. Like if you're getting a 71, you're close to
Having some
being an
issues.
issue. Yeah. But if you're at an 81, you got a lot of room up and down.
So I was a perfectionist as a child and still am in certain aspects, not school related or math, but I was the kid who pushed for 100 every time. Like, no matter what, I was going to kill myself trying to get 100. I even had a teacher in 4th grade, Miss Phillips, if you're listening to this, you messed me up, who told me that my 96 wasn't good enough. My mom went to the school over that one, and then offered to pay me if I would make a B. I think she was probably doing that in spite of Miss Phillips. Actually, just to like prove her wrong or something. I don't really know what happened there, but I was so obsessive with my grades that I thought that a 96 was not good enough. Like I remember the day she told me that, and it like stuck with me in 4th grade. And so I just pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and I did really well in elementary, middle, junior high, high school, until the end of high school when I was completely burnt out. I took the higher level classes, I was in GT, and then I was tired. I was tired. I'd pushed my whole life like to be perfect when you can't be perfect. And for what? I
Nothing.
took nothing. I took my ACT 5 times. 5 times. I was never a good test taker. I was really good at like studying to get the paper done or whatever. Like I could do the assignment and get really good grades on it, but then you put me in like a standardized test. Ooh, took that thing 5 times and still didn't even get that good of a score. And then I went to community college. And what did I do in community college? Absolutely nothing, because I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I did not care about school at that point, which I didn't know what I wanted to be. I had just pushed so hard to be so perfect and get these straight A's. For what? For what? No reason. And it completely burnt me out. And so I was like, I'm just going to go have fun in college. I didn't like party or anything, but sometimes I would go to my class. Sometimes I wouldn't. And then I got pregnant. 2nd year in college. And then sometimes I would go to my class with my big old belly. And then sometimes they wouldn't. And I had professors pass me just because they felt bad. They're like, she's 19 and pregnant, about to deliver any day now. We'll just go ahead. I had one professor go, hey, you're not going to pass this final if I give it to you. So do you mind if I just give you a C and you can leave the class? I'll take it. But the high school me would have never been like that. So I see what I did as wrong.
And me as correct.
I don't know if I would go that far. Because I feel like from like the beginning you were like C. Maybe the fact that you've changed your tone a little bit.
Audrey's in 5th grade. Does it matter if she gets a C on something?
So my thing with grades is, did you try your best?
Mm-hmm.
If her best is a C, then fine.
So what does it do if she learns about aquatic ecosystems in 5th grade and gives it her all and stresses out about a test that she has tomorrow and gets 100? Is that better than her getting an 80 and, understanding them, but not really caring about what the plant life looks like?
I think that you should. I'm not saying like stress out about it. I'm not saying that in 5th grade you need to be staying up all hours of the night to study for a test. You probably should have been studying before the night before. But I think that you should have to give it your all. And if you
For aquatic ecosystems?
Yeah, because what if her all is an 80? Like, we can't be like, don't try.
Yeah.
And she gets a D. Like, how you pass 5th grade?
You got to do better on the next one.
I think that it's just important for the try your best. So coming from the perfectionist mentality, the way I have told Audrey, and you've heard me say this a lot of times, is as long as you're trying your best, it doesn't have to be 100. I don't care if it's 100. Did you try your best? And your best means you better be studying. Not like, did you get to the test and like take your best guess. Not that. Not that. Did you study for it? Did you put in some effort? Did you pay attention? Did you read your questions? Slow down and actually give it your all, but not like be super stressed out about the grade.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, you should try hard.
Yeah, I think that trying hard is really all that matters.
Yeah. So with me, I didn't care like whatsoever until like the end of high school. And then it was kind of like new to me to try hard in college, which I could see where that would like be an issue for some people. Like, I haven't tried my whole life. I'm not going to try now. But there's a difference in like college where you can like take what you want to take a little bit. And I feel like even some high schools now will like give you options that you care about. But that's where like I have a hang up on going full blast in elementary school is you're learning about some weird shit that no one cares about. And so if you're coming out of, I don't even know what class it is where she's learning about these
Science.
seawater plants, but if you're spending your all on that, that might be a waste of time.
I do agree that that information is kind of stupid. And that's where we've also discussed homeschool.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's like core things you need to know about math and English.
Mm-hmm.
And past that, I honestly don't care if you know history. I do not know one single thing about history. And I tried hard in school.
If you want to know about history, there's a ton of podcasts out there that you can listen to for like a month and be like real good at history.
That's true. And with math, honestly, calculators.
Let's talk about how our teachers in our day traumatized us by saying, even though you have this calculator on your desk, for whatever reason, when you get to the real world, someone's going to take it from you and you can't have a calculator.
Yeah, that was a thing. You're not going to have calculators in the real world. Shh. We've got them on watches, phones, Alexas.
Probably in the sunglasses now. Wow.
Oh, yeah. I did see.
Try those.
Did I tell you about the kids now wearing those AI sunglasses to school? And then you don't have to talk very loud to them. So you can just like mumble your question and they can pick it up and see your paper and like answer it for you. Like, how is AI and all of this going to affect schooling? I think we're going to have to transition to all online. And like, what are these kids even learning and why are they learning it? Part of me, I don't know. Schooling's weird, man. I feel like that aquatic thing, no need. Unless you're going to do aquatic things. You need to know how to read. Commas are important, Shane.
Are they?
They are.
There's spell check and all the other things. You can throw that into ChatGPT now and it'll fix it.
Okay, but you should know where a comma goes. Some of your sentences get a little confusing if you don't have commas in there.
Not anymore in ChatGPT. So I was that kid, though, that is like, I would have shown up with those AI glasses. When they told you could use a note card as a study reference, you get that font about 8 and print that bad boy. You print the whole study guide on that note card. That was me.
Yeah.
Why try hard when you can do that?
I did that with note cards too, but I didn't print it out. I don't think we had a printer, so I just like wrote really small, but my handwriting's like really bad, as you could see, and I couldn't read half of it.
So.
Okay. Is that it on parenting? Should we get into Love is Blind? Because I think we might be better at recapping that than we are at parenting.
I mean, we're like top tier with commentary for these shows. So, obviously.
Okay, moving on. And if you have any parenting questions,
keep them to yourself because we don't have good advice.
No, I would gladly answer like parenting questions and give you my millennial take on it.
Yeah. Like unfiltered shit
an
advice.
Unfiltered take. So like if you're having a kid, let me know. Like, I feel like I could answer some questions. Like, some people are going to give you this, like, proper answer. Like, you should do this, that, and that. And I'm going to be like, shh, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Try this instead.
We've
and then
tried
you might fail.
So we know kind of what works a little bit.
We've tried everything under the sun. We just don't stick with any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a good couple of days with some things.
Yeah, the
Give
chore
me that.
chart. Until Shane took over the chores.
We keep doing a shitty job.
Oh my God. He was like, well, she's doing this. I'm just going to do all the vacuuming for her. What is that teaching them? That they should
To
have a
hurry up.
good job and hire a housekeeper.
Yeah.
Like,
Facts.
spend your time making money so that you don't have to clean your own house. That's what we're going to teach them. Okay, Love is Blind. Reunion. Okay, so not only did we see the reunion since we have last recapped, we saw the weddings, all of the weddings. We were wrong about a couple of them. I don't have this in my notes. We were wrong. You said that Joey and Monica said yes, and they both said no. And we found out that neither one of them even said I love you to each other.
Yeah, they didn't like each other at all.
What? That was so wild. And I just didn't even realize when they were talking, like he genuinely just did not like her. And I didn't gather that. And I don't think you did either because you thought they said yes. I
No.
thought he said no, but
Yeah, I thought he was going to say yes, but he was hard to read. So I guess she couldn't read him either.
and he like was not physically,
Yeah.
he just didn't like her. And then tried to blame it on her sister.
I mean, I would have too.
My sister was bad, but okay, so we saw them obviously not get married. Sarah said no to Ben. Ben seemed to be shocked by this,
He was.
which I don't know why. He should not have been shocked. And then Devin and Virginia, I thought they both said yes. You were a little skeptical thinking that he was going to say no, but shockingly, she's the one that said no and seemed like pretty confident in that based on a whole bunch of crap that she never said.
Yeah. I think he still would have said no, though. Like,
You think?
yeah. I think they were both like on bad terms. It seemed like at the end of that, and based on the reunion, seems like they had drifted quite a bit apart.
Based on the reunion for sure. But then the only one couple from Love is Blind that was filmed that got married were Taylor and Daniel, which I'm so glad everything worked out. And watching the reunion, they are still together a year later. Thankfully, nothing came out that he was a stalker. So, super glad that at least they had one couple stay together. But I think this is the least amount of couples at the reunion that actually were together that the show has seen. I don't know if that's actually factual, but
it seems like it. I don't know that I recall one wedding actually going through. I think some have like married and were like, that's not going to work. And then it didn't. But
I think there's always been at least two couples together at the reunion.
yeah.
And there was only one. That was so shocking. But they both showed up to the reunion so cute. What did we think about Daniel's outfit? I feel like he looked really good put together.
Yeah, a little glow up. Yeah, he figured some things out.
Yeah, it's like funny how once you get married, you like get it together. Isn't that right, Shane?
Is it?
Is it?
I don't know.
Should we share some pictures of what you looked like when we first were together?
Well, like everyone, I've had some bad fashion days, but
And hair days. Can we talk about your
Hair.
hair days? When we met, he was buzzing his own hair on like a 2
yeah,
all over,
yeah.
and had no facial hair. Looked 12.
Hmm.
You looked 12.
Except for when I had the mustache.
Oh, the mustache.
That was a look.
Daniel has a mustache. What
He did.
did we think?
It was fine. I feel like the hair went with it.
I feel like he pulled it off all right. But he definitely did have a glow up.
Yeah.
I want to know, and this is me being like just a little nosy, but did Taylor get her girls done? Or was it just a great dress?
I don't see that sort of thing.
Sure you don't.
I'm a personality guy.
Okay. But I don't know. She looked phenomenal either way. I just felt like she was like a little bit more modest, like when filming was happening, and then she comes out like looking great, everything showing in the reunion. But happy for them. They had their little like 1 year together photo
Mm.
recap thing, and it was cute. And I did think it was so sweet. This is separate, but I thought it was so sweet that his mom is having some, like, health issues, and her brother is, like, letting his dad crash there. Like, their whole families are, like, blending together, and I feel like out of everyone on all of the seasons, I feel like they might actually, like, be the perfect match for each
Yeah.
other.
Well, and they had their parents like meet beforehand.
Yeah.
Like they actually did the things that are, pretty important to that process.
Yeah, I agree. So, happy for them. Virginia was a totally different person. She spoke straight up.
Yeah.
Her hair looked great. She looked great. But this was not the same person that was filming in the pods or in any other part of the show. Like, this was a totally different person, and I want to know why. Like, what happened? She came on this reunion and is like, she has a doctorate. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, she has a doctorate in something, and I don't know what it is, but I think she's very, like, highly educated, but on the show, it was either, like, looking down or looking up, but her head was, like, turned to the side, and she was, like, very quiet spoken, like, didn't say much, and then at the reunion, she was just, like, speaking her truth.
Mm.
That's
You gotta do it.
do we?
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Truth
Speak your truth about speaking your truth.
there is not a your truth.
Uh-huh.
There is a your opinion.
But is it true if you don't say, this is my truth?
So it can't be your truth. It's either true or it's false or it's an opinion. Like, you can't be like, this is my truth. No, it's your opinion. It's your opinion of how it went down, but it's either true or it's false, and it's not somebody's truth and somebody else has a different truth. Like, no, absolutely not. It's either true or it's false, and it's like black or white, and these people are making it gray, and I don't know what's going on. But that is one phrase that drives me absolutely insane.
It always gets brought up when you're wrong. Like anyone that starts something with my truth is, they're about to spout off some bullshit.
I agree. And she kept talking about her truth and then had to speak on her political views while basically calling out his. So she said, I'm not going to speak on his, but mine are basically the opposite of his. And that's why we didn't align, which called him out completely on his. And I'm sorry, but maybe he's right and you're wrong. Or maybe you're right and he's wrong.
But she said she spoke her truth. So clearly she's right.
I feel like that was just rude of her. And they obviously didn't work out, and they obviously were not meant to be together, but she acted like a totally different person, and he didn't get a word in edgewise.
I wonder how his basketball team's doing.
Probably bad. All right. Then we have the Sarah and Ben of it all, and we all saw that one failing. Everybody saw. If you didn't, you should really. Oh, I did see something. I don't know if I should speak on this, but I saw something that said that Sarah should end up with Brittany.
Yeah, that might work.
Because they both, like, aligned more than her and Ben did, because her and Ben aligned on absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
But Ben also, he just was in hot water the whole time. Like, everything that was said, he couldn't remember. Oh, I can't remember it. I have no recollection of that. Yeah, and he would be like, I can't remember because this didn't pertain to me, when talking about his church's stance, when his friends who were shown were part of the LGBT community. But that church service did not pertain to him, and he couldn't remember any of it. And then it pans to Daniel, whose face could not keep it together, because he was like, yeah, we all know this is a lie, dude. So Ben was just all up in the hot water. But then they talked about What I didn't understand was the Nashville situation. Did you get that one?
Yeah, I don't trust either of them on that. But I thought it was funny that, like, according to him, which I kind of believe this part, they were in some like tough situations the day before where they were like not getting along. And he said, like, seemingly broke up. I'm not going to Nashville with somebody if I broke up with them the night before. You know, like, I'd probably tell somebody about it. But I kind of sided with him on, like, screw that. I'm not going to a different city to live with you when we're
Broken up.
not together.
Yeah, none of it honestly made sense. Like I don't know if it was the edit and they edited out the important parts or if neither one of them made any sense, but I don't know why she would have thought he was coming to Nashville if they had just broken up. How neither one of them seemed to know what was going on. Why cuz she said in like the whenever she was in the car after the wedding that she didn't want to like be with him anymore, but then gets back together and wants him to move with her to Nashville for a little bit. Doesn't make any sense. Like she knew full well that they didn't align on anything. So I don't know. I think that was like all a super weird situation. Um yeah, I don't believe any of it. Okay, then we had Madison with the receipts, the screenshots in her side boob. What are you doing?
You talking about these? The smiley faces and dead emojis
Yes.
that
So,
literally proved nothing.
nothing. Those receipts were so pointless. I feel like the last one wasn't even about the topic in which she was trying to use it in reference to. So, yeah, I don't think it was a good look for her. I think she really thought she was doing something with those screenshots. And I actually wanted to be on her side in this. I don't like Mason or Meg or Alex. Like, I really don't like any of them, but it just didn't do what I think she wanted it to do.
Agreed. Same with the dress.
Oh, that was a bad fashion choice there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that one at all. I'm not sure if it was like to show the stomach tat. That's what I was thinking is like this was the only dress that they had available to like show her stomach tat and she really wanted to show that. But yeah, very bad fashion choice. All right. Then we ended with perfect match as a spoiler. Mad about that one because I really do like Perfect Match. We watched 1 and 2 and they're supposed to be filming for, I guess they've already filmed for season 3. And now we know that AD got engaged to Ollie. So we don't know. What they didn't say is if they won the season, but their facial expressions made it seem like they did.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to know that.
Even if they don't, like, I don't care if they win or not, because, you know, no one actually wins that show.
True.
Or most of these, if we're being honest. But the fact that we know, like, even if something happens and they, like, drift apart on the show, they're gonna be back together. Like, now I don't care. Every time they show up, I'm gonna be, like, tuned out.
Yeah, we already know what happens. No, and I did see someone who was like, "Oh, I'm excited to see how this happened on Perfect." Like, no, I already know the ending. It's like, why would I read the book? But the best part about the reunion was Alex.
Not the show, Alex.
No. Alex, is it Warren? Oh, now I've forgotten his name.
Warren?
Is it Warren?
Something like that.
But I love him. I love his music. His new song, Ordinary. That was the best part. Getting to watch like a full-on music video in the pods.
That was cool.
That was really cool. And
probably the best thing that they've done on the show as a whole.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was so excited, which I did catch that they used his song in filming for the show, which I thought was interesting because I didn't realize that song had come out. which maybe they put it in at the end. I don't really know how that all went down, but I really want to go see him. I'm not a concert person, but I want to go see his show. I actually just saw on TikTok that he had a show, and the place could only hold 1,000 people, and it sold out in like 30 seconds or something. And so he's having to like get bigger places. So he's great. Best thing that they did. And that's it on Love is Blind. But now Love is Blind is ended.
It's over.
So what do we recap? We are watching American Idol, but right now it's just the beginning of American Idol where it's a bunch of, I don't know, people just trying to get on the show. So there's really nothing to recap.
I do want to shout out that they're not putting the terrible people on there, which I'm kind of split on, because some of that shit was really entertaining, even though it was awful. But I don't know. We were sitting there and we're like, oh, this is going to be the bad one. And then there never was. Like, everyone that they showed went through.
So that was one of my hot takes, and now you've stolen it. I know. But my hot take was that it was better TV to watch the bad ones. So, like, I don't want it to all be bad ones. Obviously, I think there should be a mix, but I think it was fun, like, a few years ago when they had, like, the over-the-top bad ones.
Mhm.
I feel like that just made the show more interesting, but now it's like, oh, you're going to Hollywood, you're going to Hollywood, you're going to, like, are we sending them all? Like, we don't know who's bad now, so it looks like you're sending every person that comes on the show.
Yeah. I think it's definitely better TV to have them. And it was me and you the whole time, like, oh, here comes the bad one. And we were wrong every time.
Every single time.
So that was kind of annoying. But, you know, maybe they had so many bad people trying out to, like, try to get on TV. Because a lot of people did well when they did that.
Yeah, I think that it probably was that reason. And so they're trying to limit the amount of people who are just coming on there and being terrible. But they have to go through a whole audition process. I had a friend try out for American Idol.
Mm.
And so you have to go through a whole audition process to even get to that. Like, I think it's multiple rounds before you even get to that. So I don't know how true that is, but I do think it used to be more fun, like seeing some of the bad ones. But then I get emotional on the sappy ones too. You can always tell when someone's going to be good because it shows their family and their dog and their farm and, you know, whatever. But so we won't recap that. Maybe we'll recap it when they get to live shows.
Yeah.
And give some thoughts there. And then we just started that Running Point show.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we've only watched 2 episodes. 2 episodes. It has, is it Kate Hudson?
Yeah.
Kate Hudson in it, and it's like a basketball-y show, but like girl version.
Mm-hmm.
And that chick, Brenda Song. I really like her. Did you watch Sweet Life of Zach and Cody?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, it was on Disney Channel a long time ago, and she was like, her name was London, and she was the heiress on the show. Anyway, so that's what
the assistant?
Yes, that's the assistant.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I loved her growing up. So I think this is a cute show, but nothing to recap. Honestly, we're not going to have anything like really to recap until Perfect Match season 3 when we already know what happens. And Love Island, Big Brother. We have good shows. I think that they're going to have Bachelor in Paradise come out too, but then they're filming in the summer. It's not going to be out until fall. So
I feel like I've disconnected from Bachelor. Like, you made me watch that a lot, but even the last like probably 3 you haven't even watched. So
no, I'm not watching any of like the actual season, so I wouldn't know any of these contestants unless they're pulling out old contestants.
Yeah.
And if they did that, that might be interesting. They honestly should do that. Like all these people that are still single after the 20 years that the show's been running. But yeah, so I don't really know what we're going to recap. If you have any shows that you think we should start watching that just have come out, I don't want to do that Temptation Island. We saw that one is about to come out, or maybe it already has launched, but I'm not doing that one because I think that's wrong. I don't believe in cheating, and I feel like that's setting them up to cheat.
Yeah.
That's like the whole premise of the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's so wrong.
No, it's to test your relationship, but like,
okay,
to the extreme.
Yeah, no. I just don't believe in that, so I won't be doing that one. But if you have any other shows that are not how you cheat on your wife or whatever, then maybe we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, hot takes.
Hot takes. So do you only have one now?
No, I had 3.
Ooh.
Now I have 2. How many do
Set
you
up.
have?
I got 2.
Okay.
You want me to go first since you already lost one of yours?
Yes.
All right. My midlife crisis is going to start at 37.
Okay. You are midlife at 39? I thought it was 39.
Something like that. Yeah. It's in the you barely make it to 80 these days.
Right. That's pretty valid, especially because you don't go to the doctor or take any supplements. But
I'm a machine.
yeah, you are. Okay, what's your midlife crisis going to involve? A Porsche?
Porsche with
Old.
a hitch on the back, old Porsche pulling jet skis.
Jet skis?
Jet skis.
What?
And also like a snowboard. Snowboard.
What?
Is that what it is? Snowboard? Yeah, snowboard on top of the Porsche. Just so I'm like ready for anything.
With your jet skis?
Yeah.
And a snowboard.
And a snowboard on top of the Porsche.
Okay.
And maybe like all terrains on the Porsche.
Okay. Here's mine. Daylight savings time should never go away. That was passed. It was like passed that we weren't supposed to have this daylight savings, but this is the better daylight savings. Right? Or maybe there's not 2 daylight savings. There's just 2 savings times, and I don't know what they are, and I like this one.
Yeah, I don't understand the purpose of any of it, so I say just quit messing with it.
Yeah, I feel like we should keep this one where the sun is out longer.
Yeah.
And then leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the changing it at Christmas to get dark at 5 p.m. does signal to me that it's Christmas, and we can convince the children to go to bed earlier, but that's about it, and it just causes seasonal depression.
Yeah.
So I really don't understand why there's a change.
I don't either. And it like, I do like it in the fact that it like makes me sync up all the clocks in the house because for whatever reason, they never are. And so if I have to reset them, then I sync them. And then like a month from now, they're all out of whack.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're up.
All right. Fans should always be on in the spring and summer.
Absolutely not.
Why?
I don't like fans.
I know.
I don't like them at all.
You should. They're wonderful. Circulating, nice little breeze.
I don't
What's to hate?
I don't like the noise. The constant noise stresses me out, and then I get cold.
But it's spring and summer. I understand in the winter if you got the fan on, which also you should 24/7, 365 fans on because it circulates the hot air that's up at the top, brings it down.
Yeah, but I get cold because we have the air conditioning running
In the summer?
in the summer.
But we're in Texas. It's like 105.
Outside,
Yeah.
65 inside.
Kind of inside.
Then you turn the fan on, then I'm freezing.
It's 65 inside?
I think so.
No way.
All right. You're wrong. I'm right. Next.
You got another one?
Yes, I have 2. Okay. If I lived in Florida, I wouldn't be depressed.
I don't know. So backstory on this one, you've tried to get us to maybe not move to Florida, even though that's definitely been something we've explored, but at least have like a house in Florida so we can visit it all the time. And while I agree that it would help, you like change too much. And even if we get that house in Florida, you're going to be like, I don't like Florida anymore. And you're going to want to be in, Galveston or
I never want to be in Galveston. You are wrong.
or Orange Beach or somewhere else, maybe. I don't know. You like change too much for me to think that one thing is going to solve.
I know, but where is one place that I've always vacationed for my whole life?
Florida.
And I still want to go there all the time.
Yeah, but you don't live there.
No, But I think that if I did live there and I was by the ocean and grounding and stuff, they talk about grounding, you stick your feet in the sand and then the earth moves or something. I don't really know. But
We
I
got
think
sand here.
no, we don't.
We have sand.
No, it's not the same. It's not the white fluffy sand with the ocean. And I kind of feel like Moana when I'm standing by the ocean and I just like am called to the ocean. I feel like I'm supposed to live there.
Mm.
And maybe I'd get skinnier and be less depressed. Because if I had to be in a swimsuit every day, I'd be like, guess I better work out. But I'm in Texas, and right now, no need to be in a swimsuit. And I can avoid going outside and
Except
just
for your
stay.
job.
Ugh, yeah. So I think we should move to Florida.
We'll talk about it. So it fits in with my midlife crisis if you want to wait like a couple of years. Just think of me driving my snowboarding Porsche, pulling the jet skis down the beach. That's a vibe.
That's a vibe.
I am ready. Let's do it in 4
Okay.
years or whenever I get there.
Maybe next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of logistics. I haven't researched jet skis in a while.
Okay, well, you can have your life crisis later.
Mm.
We can just fix my
Package
depression
deal.
now.
I feel like midlife for you is Florida.
No, that's happy place. Maybe I won't have a midlife
Are you
crisis.
gonna do any work if we were to move to Florida?
Yes, bikini ads. After I get my
Baywatch.
paycheck check. Baywatch. No, I probably would struggle with work,
Mm.
but we would just have bikinis.
Yeah.
Lots of bikinis.
Not a bad image.
Yeah. I would just have to lose the weight first. So, okay, we're moving to Florida. Great chat.
All right. Next episode on location, the beach.
Yeah. Actually, we're going on a trip to a cabin in the woods next week. So we'll chat about that and
Okay.
how while I'm in that cabin wishing that I was on the beach, I found a beach house. That's what's going to be next episode.
Sounds good.
All right, that's a wrap.
Cut.